Hello there, and welcome to this Wheel and Anchor webinar on the newest rendition of our LiveAway to the Canary Islands of Spain. I'm thrilled to take you on a virtual journey, which is going to cover part of this fascinating archipelago, where we're going to explore two of its most captivating islands, specifically Tenerife and La Palma. Whether you're dreaming of an experience of just escaping Canadian winter or looking for a unique travel adventure, then this program offers a unique blend of relaxation, exploration, and immersion in the local culture of the Canary Islands. Now, for those of you who participate in many of our webinars, you're welcome to skip ahead. The next part of our webinar will be our introduction to Wheel and Anchor. And if you scroll just below this video on YouTube, you'll find the chapters, and you can move ahead to the map and the day-by-day itinerary. If you're new to us, I encourage you to watch the next couple of slides as I explain a little bit about what we're all about here at Wheel and Anchor. Before we get into those details about what our Canary Islands Liveaway is all about, let me share with you a little bit about what Wheel and Anchor is all about, because we're more than just an average tour company. In fact, we are a community of like-minded Canadian explorers. And one of the things that we have in common is that we seek out experiences that are a little bit off the beaten tourist track, which is not to say that there's anything wrong with visiting the traditional tourist destinations. That's why they are tourist destinations, because we want to see them. But we look for an experience that balances the structured part of a travel experience along with having ample free time for you to go off and explore and discover some of those hidden gems, of which there's so many on Tenerife and La Palma. Our trips have a really wonderful balance between structured time and free time. And so the other part, and this is the part about bringing travelers together, if you value the camaraderie that comes from traveling with like-minded people from other parts of Canada who also enjoy a mix of pre-organized guided trips, but also the opportunity to go out with new met friends and explore on your own, then you've definitely come to the right place. At Wheel and Anchor, our goal for our members focuses on two key aspects, being both well-traveled and well-connected. And in our books, being well-traveled doesn't mean just ticking off destinations on a bucket list, which is not to say that there's anything wrong with having a bucket list. As travelers, we all have a list of the destinations we've always dreamed of visiting, but it's rather about keeping your curiosity, your sense of adventure alive, which allows you the opportunity to perhaps shift your perspective and change your understanding on how the world actually works. And being well connected for us is about forging friendships that last beyond the duration of the program. It's about having a network of fellow travel enthusiasts with whom you can share stories and plan future adventures. Our trip gives you ample time not only to connect with the people that you're traveling with, but also with the people that we meet in destination and the wonderful culture of the people of the Canary Islands. I'm just going to say a couple more things before we delve into the details, and I want to tell you a little bit about who we are, who are the people of Wheel and Anchor, beyond our members, of course. And so, first of all, my name is Gordon Drager. I'm the founder of Wheel and Anchor. I've been working in and around the travel industry for well over 30 years, and I've organized trips for Canadians to just about all parts of the globe. But I couldn't pull off all of those wonderful mission and vision that I've just talked about without an incredible team of people, all of whom are very dedicated to ensuring that we deliver some of the best experiences for our members. The person who's most important for you, though, is our lead trip specialist, Paula Zarnick. You can see a picture of her here. And she's the person, when you drop us a note or give us a call, who will most likely be frontline to make sure that your questions get answered and to assist you in joining us if you decide to join us on this or any of our trips. Now let's talk a little bit about the plan of what this trip is all about and what makes it special. The Canary Islands, despite being part of Spain, are actually closer to the continent of Africa than they are to mainland Europe. And they consist of a unique geographical composition of volcanic mountains, vast plains, very, very interesting landscape that has resulted in a fascinating blend of cultures. Our LiveAway program is designed for you to explore a little bit what this culture is all about. For Europeans, this is kind of like the Caribbean of Europe. And so they flock there in the wintertime, and you'll meet lots of Europeans from all parts of the continent during our adventure there. Today, I'm going to take you through our itinerary, share with you some of the highlights that we're going to enjoy on this LiveAway program as we go through a day-by-day itinerary covering everything that's included. As always, I like to start with the map of our destination and of the region that we're going to be traveling through. And so you can see here in the top, the inset map shows the relative location of the Canary Islands, actually quite a distance away from Spain. We're going to be starting our trip in Puerto La Cruz, which is one of the more historic towns on the island on the north coast of Tenerife. And just to give you a little bit of the lay of the land, you're more than likely to be flying into the airport at Santa Cruz de Tenerife. Tenerife, believe it or not, has two airports, one in the north, one in the south. And we're going to be spending our time here in Puerto La Cruz, from which we can explore many aspects of the island that I'll go into in a little bit more detail. For those of you who've heard of the Canary Islands, maybe you've had friends that have visited there, a lot of the resorts are focused on the very southern tip. It's a slightly warmer part of the island, but it is, from my own experience, a little bit of a concrete jungle, which is part of the reason why we're focusing on this more historic, this charming town, this small city called Puerto La Cruz. So we spend our first week there. We then make a short hop over. This map is not quite to scale, but we fly over to La Palma. It's not a long flight. It's only about 30 minutes in duration. And there we're going to be staying in Los Canjajos, which is just outside of the main town of Santa Cruz de La Palma. Now, this island, which I'll tell you about when we get into the day-by-day itinerary, is also known as La Isla Bonita, the beautiful island. It is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, and it has some incredible natural beauty and dramatic volcanic landscapes. It is best known for the volcano that recently went off only about 5 years ago, that really decimated a whole chunk of the island. But when you arrive, you won't even notice that, because it's actually on the other side of the ridge that separates the east side from the west side of the island. So that is the Canary Islands. That is the focus of our LiveAway program that I'm going to share with you now all about, and what we're going to do in our day-by-day itinerary. So let's get into it. Our 15-day journey is crafted to give you a comprehensive experience of both islands. I mentioned we're going to be spending the first week on Tenerife, the second week on La Palma. Throughout the stay, we have a mix of guided excursions, plenty of free time, which allows you to also explore at your own pace and according to your own interests. So let's go. Day one. We begin with your arrival in Tenerife. Now, first question you may be asking yourself, how do I get to Tenerife? Well, for those who are joining on our LiveAway program in Madeira, that immediately precedes this program. So if you're going first to Madeira, which is about 700 kilometers northwest of the Canary Islands, there is a flight that you can take directly from Funchal, or from the airport in Madeira, all the way down to Tenerife North. If you're coming directly from Canada, there are a number of different options available to you. Unfortunately, we don't have any direct flights to the Canary Islands, but you can easily make a connection from Canada via Spain, via London, via Portugal. There are a number of different routes that will allow you to get to Tenerife. The important thing to note is, as I mentioned before, you're going to be arriving at Tenerife Airport North, which is located in the north part of the island. As you fly in, depending on which approach you take, it's usually from the west or from the east. If you look to the south, you're going to see this very impressive volcano, Mount Teide. I'm going to be talking to you about that in a second as well. But you'll also look down on the beautiful waters that surround the island as you land in Tenerife. When you get there, we'll then pick you up in your private transfer, and you'll be brought down to our hotel in Puerto La Cruz. It's about a half an hour, 40-minute drive, depending on traffic, and this wonderful coastal landscape will await you. Let me talk to you first a little bit about our accommodation for our first week in Tenerife. Now, the one thing you need to know about Tenerife is that there are lots of larger hotels. And this isn't our typical choice, but having been to the Canary Islands a couple of times and scoured for that ideally sumptuous little boutique hotel, well, there aren't any, or at least there aren't any that suit our requirements at Wheel and Anchor. But we found a hotel that, although it's a number of stories high, like you can see in the photo, it really does suit our needs. The Sol Costa Atlantis is located just 50 meters away from Martianes Beach, as well as the renowned Lago Martianes pool complex. And this is this massive man-made complex that sits between the mainland and the sea, and it is just a short walk to the entrance from the hotel and is really quite an amazing complex. There's all kinds of shops, bars, and cafes. You are in the center of the action. Everything is within easy walking distance, including the local attraction of Loro Parque, which is a big amusement park. The hotel's position offers amazing views of the Atlantic Ocean, as well as to Mount Teide, which of course is to the east. And so this will give you a fantastic snapshot of the beauty of the island just by looking out of your hotel room window. One of the highlights of the hotel is that it has wonderful pool facilities, and obviously what better thing to do when you're relaxing on your LiveAway is to spend some time by the pool for those who are less inclined to go to the beach. Although personally I'm a beach lover, the water is a little bit on the cool side, but I still think it's a rite of passage when you're here. There is a whole separate area for the children, so they're not interfering too much in your relaxation. There's sun loungers out there, refreshments at the pool bar, and ample opportunity to take in the sea views. The hotel also has something that is quite special, a little bit unique in Puerto La Cruz, in that it has a wonderful, luxurious spa all the way up on the 14th floor. Now, this is an optional thing. It's actually not part of the hotel itself, but it's certainly worth a treat at least once during your stay. It's got a thermal circuit with a sauna, a Turkish bath, a pool with water jets, and all while you're sitting in this bath looking out over the ocean and Mount Teide. It's really quite a phenomenal piece of infrastructure in the hotel. The rooms at the Sol Costa Atlantis are both comfortable and well appointed. They have all the amenities you can expect from a modern hotel. They've got air conditioning, TV, satellite channels, free Wi-Fi, and we're going to be offering all of our Wheel and Anchor members sea view rooms, so you can wake up to and go to bed to the sounds of the sea, which is of course not far away. The hotel provides all the comforts that you need for an extended stay in Tenerife. So after our restful arrival day, we will take some time on our first full day on Tenerife to get a little bit of an orientation tour around the town of Puerto La Cruz, and also how to get to the other parts of the island. Puerto La Cruz used to be a very traditional fishing village, and although it's turned into a touristic resort like much of the rest of the island, it has still traditional Canarian character. We're going to spend some time walking around the old quarter because that's probably where you'll spend a lot of your free time over the next week. It's got narrow cobblestone streets, colorful buildings, and you'll have a chance to see some of the iconic Canarian wooden balconies, which are a testament to the island's unique architectural style. We'll end off with a wonderful cocktail reception, one of our many Wheel and Anchor mingles, social gatherings that we'll have throughout the trip, where you can start to get to know some of your fellow travelers and toast to the adventures ahead. Our first full day excursion is going to take us up to Mount Teide, which is the volcano that dominates the landscape and sits in the center of the island. It is really quite an amazing spot. It's part of the overall UNESCO World Heritage Site known as Mount Teide National Park. The volcano itself towers up to 3,718 meters above sea level, which is just over 12,000 feet, making it not only the highest mountain in Spain, but also the third largest volcano in the world, measured all the way from its base. We'll have an early morning Canarian breakfast as the sun is rising, which will paint the landscape with these beautiful soft hues. And then we'll have a chance to explore the sunrise through a unique solar telescope. We've all probably looked through a regular telescope up at the stars, but this may be one of the first chances that you'll have to do what's known as solar gazing. You might even be one of the first people in the Western Hemisphere to spot the sunspots that are happening on that day. Now, from there, weather permitting, we're going to head over to the cable car. And I say weather permitting because, as you can well imagine, high up on this volcano in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, the weather can be a little bit unpredictable, but We're going to hope for beautiful blue skies and low winds, and we'll take the cable car, which will bring us all the way up almost to the peak, to 3,555 meters above sea level, which will give incredible views of Tenerife and the neighboring islands. Now, the whole area, regardless if we get up to the peak or not, is literally like you're standing on Mars. And in fact, they actually use this landscape to test out the Mars rovers, just to give you a sense of how otherworldly this landscape is. The air up here is so clear and free of pollution that NASA actually has an observatory to track objects in space. Our next day is free, so you'll have a chance to do some relaxation or perhaps a little exploration. But we've got a number of optional excursions that we're going to be offering on the free days throughout our liveaways. Now, Canarian cuisine is quite a unique blend of Spanish, African, and Latin American influences, which really reflects on the island's history, because it was often a stopping point for some transatlantic voyages, which kind of makes sense. We're going to offer an optional cooking class today, which is a hands-on class, and it'll give you a chance to prepare some of the traditional dishes like papas aragudas, translated to wrinkled potatoes with mojo sauce. You'll see mojo sauce all over the Canary Islands. This is really a staple of their kitchen. And you might want to also give a shot at making gofio, which is a toasted grain flour that's part of the Canarian cuisine since back in the time of the indigenous Guanche people. This whole experience is not just about cooking, but it's a journey through this island's history and culture through the lens of food. Today, we're going to have a whole host of diverse experiences that really capture the essence of Tenerife. Our first stop will be at a place called Arrafo, where we'll see some of the remnants of the island's most striking lava flows, which remind us of the volcanic nature of the island. Now, it may still be a little bit early in the morning, but obviously they produce some very interesting wines here that are influenced by this volcanic terroir. From there, we'll head over to the Museum of Nature and Archaeology to learn about this indigenous Guanche people that I mentioned before. They were the original inhabitants of the Canary Islands, and they were known for some unique customs, including using a form of a whistling language, which was used to communicate across the deep ravines that we may see as we traverse the island. Back in the evening, we're going to visit an organic winery in southern Tenerife, where we'll again have a chance to taste those wines that we may have passed the vineyards in the morning. And as I said before, the volcanic soil gives the wines a unique minerality that makes them quite distinctive from wines from the mainland. We'll end our day no better way than wine tasting, stargazing, and of course, the islands are known for their clear and dark skies, some of the best places in the world to stare out at the universe. There's a whole free day at your disposal on day 6, and it's important with these trips that you do a little bit of research on your own to see what it is that you might want to get up to on the many days that are at your own disposal. There's definitely lots of different options available to you. You might choose to head off and relax on one of Tenerife's famous beaches, like Playa de las Teresitas, which has golden sand that's been imported all the way from the Sahara Desert. Of course, that's because much of the sand on Tenerife has black sand beaches, and that differs a little bit between the various Canary Islands. You might also head over, if you're a history buff, to visit the town of La Orotava, which is well known for its preserved Canarian architecture and beautiful botanical gardens. Nature lovers might want to head out and visit, for example, a place called Anaga Rural Park, which is home to an ancient laurel forest that's been around since the Tertiary period 40 million years ago. We've got another day for some exploration on your own, or you might want to take one of our optional excursions. This optional excursion will cover 2 parts of the island. First of all, La Laguna, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and was the model for many of the colonial towns in the Americas. On the other side, we will visit the Anaga Rural Park that I was referring to, that you could go and visit on your own. And here we're going to take a gentle hike through that Laura Silva Forest, which is this prehistoric ecosystem that much covered once covered much of southern Europe and North Africa millions and millions of years ago during that tertiary period I just mentioned. Today, it's one of the only places in the Canary Islands and a few other Atlantic islands where this laurel forest still exists. We'll also have a chance to visit a local market where you can try out some of the Canarian delicacies like baraquito, which is this layered coffee drink, simply divine, or have a quesadilla herreña, which is a sweet cheese pastry, unlike the regular cheese quesadillas that we known from Taco Bell back home. Today, we make our way from Tenerife and head off to the second part of our live away on the island of La Palma. The trip to the airport in Tenerife doesn't take long, and the flight is even shorter at around 30 minutes. And once we arrive in La Palma, we have a short hop over and we'll find ourselves at our hotel where we're going to be staying for our second week in the Canary Islands. The Hacienda San Jorge is a truly delightful property that has both comfort, convenience, and a true taste of Canarian hospitality. It's set amongst this jungle like gardens and has a prime location in Breña Baja, which is just 150 meters away from the Playa de los Cajanos beach. Pardon my Spanish. This puts us right in the middle of this beautiful, tranquil coastal setting while being close to all of the island's major attractions. The hotel is actually about 4 kilometers outside of the capital, Santa Cruz de la Palma, and an even shorter drive to the airport, which is makes it a really great base for exploring this picturesque island. What I liked about this hotel when I visited was particularly the wonderful outdoor amenities set around this large saltwater swimming pool, beautifully landscaped gardens where you can hang out under the sun or in the shade. Wonderful spot to unwind after a day of exploration. They've also got a great fitness center and a whole sauna and Turkish bath for some extra spa relaxation. They've got a great restaurant on site that has a variety of local and international cuisine and a poolside bar where you can enjoy a refreshing cocktail. The rooms here are really lovely because they're all designed sort of in an apartment style, which offers you quite a home away from home. Each room has a separate bedroom and living area, which is perfect for relaxing after a day of sightseeing. They've again got all of the modern amenities like a TV, a phone, and a safe for your valuables, as well as a little kitchenette with a fridge and a cooker and a microwave if you feel like after a week of eating out, you might want to prepare a little something on your own. Overall, the hotel provides a very comfortable and authentic base for your exploration of the island while maintaining that true Canarian charm. Now, let me say a couple things about the island of La Palma before I go into the specifics about what we're going to do here over the next week. The geography is really a testament to its volcanic oranges because the island rises up over 7 kilometers from its base at the floor of the Atlantic Ocean, all the way up to the top of the Roque de los Muchachos at 2,426 meters above sea level. So the volcano itself is maybe only two-thirds as high as the one is at Mount Teide in Tenerife, where we just came from. But across that distance, you have this diverse range, which goes from the rocky coastal coastlines through the laurel forests up to the dramatic volcanic landscapes at the higher altitudes. Now, it was back in 2021 when La Palma made headlines when the most significant volcanic eruption of our generation occurred. It was lasted over 85 days, and it was very, very destructive, but it added a whole new dimension to the island's allure because you can go and witness firsthand the power of nature, what it did to the local community, and the resilience of those people. And hopefully you'll get a chance to speak to a few of them to understand what they went through. I know for me, it was quite a moving discussion. As a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, La Palma has really some pristine ecosystems, incredible stargazing opportunities, much like in Tenerife, and a great balance of adventure and tranquility. Black sand beaches as well, the Caldera de Taburiente National Park. It's really an unforgettable experience that I'm sure you're going to enjoy while on this second week of our live away. It's actually on our first full day excursion that we'll have a chance to go up to where that volcanic eruption occurred. Our included cave exploration excursion is going to take us right into La Palma's volcanic heart, starting with the Caños de Fuego caves. These are lava tubes that were formed by ancient volcanic eruptions and give you a fascinating glimpse into the island's geological history. We're also going to head over to Las Llanos, which is one of the largest towns on Las Palmas, and it's known for its artistic vibe and a beautiful plaza lined with laurel trees. At the end of the day, will be perhaps the highlight, although it's full of highlights. We're going to visit the 2021 Cumbre Vieja eruption site. And this event, and you'll see, because much of the island, particularly the side that you're staying on, you don't really get a sense of what happened here. But when you head over to that site and see this fresh volcanic lava flow, it really will remind you of the power of Mother Nature. Optional excursion is available to you today. Otherwise, you've got the day to go out and explore La Palma on your own. The excursion we have in store for you, if you decide to come along, is going to take us up to the northeast side of the island. This is where we'll find one of those laurel forests that I was talking about a little bit earlier. So, another example in addition to the one that we got to see over in Tenerife. We'll take a little walk through that forest. This is really one of the best preserved laurel forests in the whole of the Canary Islands. And La Palma is really quite renowned for those. We'll visit a little village, San Andres, which is really picturesque and historic. And it's particularly known for its history in the sugarcane industry. There's a rum distillery there that still produces rum using that sugarcane, but as you can well imagine, it's not really a significant contributor to the economy anymore. It was an important commodity since back in the 16th century. Today, we're going to have one of the culinary highlights of our trips. We're going to make a visit up to a wonderful eco-friendly family farm. We're going to head up to an area of the island called Punta Llana. And here we're going to find this place, which is 100% dedicated to organic cultivation. We're going to see them growing avocados and mangoes and papayas, all done in harmony with the island's ecosystem. We're going to find out more about the kind of sustainable farming practices that not only this family uses, but also in a number of different smaller family farms around La Palma, which really helps with the biodiversity so important in a place like this. Not only is this an organic farm, but it also has some stunning views out to the Atlantic Ocean from a place that's actually called the Balcony of the Atlantic. The end of our visit, we're going to have a wonderful cooking demonstration from the family. We're going to use all of the organic produce that is produced on the farm, and this whole experience will give you a true farm to fork Canarian Island culinary treat. Another free day for you today, but we also have an exciting excursion opportunity down to the south end of the island. In the south end of the island is where we'll find this San Antonio volcano, and we're going to take a walk along the rim of the crater, which offers some incredible views down into the crater itself, as well as out to the surrounding countryside. From there, we'll head over to a place called the Fuente Caliente Salt Flats, and this is a spot where they actually use traditional methods to harvest salt from the sea. If you haven't seen this production method before, it is quite remarkable. The scene itself is dramatic because you've got the white sand, the black sand beaches, and the blue ocean. It's an absolutely incredible environment. Great spot for photographers as well. And to cap it all off, we've got a Michelin mentioned restaurant in mind where we're going to savor some of the best cuisine that the island has to offer. Our LiveAway will close out here with 2 free days because my own experience there was that there are so many places to explore. You might want to take a stroll around the principal city itself, which of course is not far away from our hotel. Take a hike up into the beautiful mountains and volcanoes, or explore some of the shoreline. Here are some of the things that you might consider doing over the last 2 days. First of all, one of the things that people say you should not miss is the opportunity to go stargazing. Now, you may have had the opportunity with an early morning wake-up call in Tenerife. But here we have a spot called Llano del Yable. It's an astronomical viewpoint way up at 1,340 meters above sea level at a little place called El Paso. It has incredible views of the Aradan Valley, beautiful sunset over the island, and of course the stargazing is what makes it all worthwhile. They have some stargazing tours that you can join there that include a total guide to the constellations, stars, and planets, particularly for those of you who maybe are not so familiar with what we see up in the night sky. They have some advanced equipment, binoculars, telescopes, and so on, and they have great stories to tell about all these celestial bodies and planets and so on. This is a terrific chance as well to take photos of the starry sky. They will show you exactly how to do that. And once again, as I've said before, the Canary Islands, and in particular La Palma, make it one of the best places in the world for astronomy. So it's our last day, and for those that are particularly active, nothing better to do than go out and take a nice hike before you have to get back on a plane and head home or off to your next destination. The optional that we'll offer today is a hiking trip to a place called Cubo de la Galga. This is another must-see spot up on the northeastern slope of the island. It's a wonderful area. There's a hiking trail that's around 4 kilometers long. They've got, again, beautiful laurel forests, which are really here reminiscent of prehistoric times. The biodiversity is amazing. There's rare plant and bird species that you won't find anywhere else. And best of all, it's protected because of the forest, so you have a nice, cool, shady atmosphere for wandering around. The trail is pretty accessible for most fitness levels, takes about 2 hours to do the round trip. And while you're wandering around, you might even see the so-called Boyes pigeon, which is a rare species that is endemic to the Canary Islands. But there's lots of other things that one could do for the last day on the island. You might visit the sea pools at Charco Azul, take a boat trip to do some whale watching and dolphin watching. You could head off to one of the other volcanoes or craters on the island, or you might just want to stroll around Santa Cruz de la Palma and explore a little bit more, maybe do a little shopping before heading home. It's sadly time to leave the Canary Islands and make your way home. By this time, you'll probably have asked yourself why you didn't discover them before, but that's what life and travel is all about, is discovery often comes when you least expect it. From here, we'll chauffeur you back to the airport in Santa Cruz de la Palma for your onward flight to your next destination, or perhaps home to Canada. If what I've talked about today about our LiveAway in the Canary Islands is appealing, then you may want to get some more details, and we certainly have lots of those available. The best way to obtain all that is to head over to our website. I've put the link just below this video in the description on YouTube, so you can go straight to the webpage. There you'll find a summary of information, including our lead-in prices. And if you download our trip itinerary, which you'll find the link to on that webpage, then you can get all of the details for this trip, all the terms and conditions, everything you need to know. We also produce a trip-specific reference guide. This is sort of a logistical information document. This answers a lot of questions about, weather and climate and, the things that you need to bring. So we try to provide all of the information that you need in one click. Of course, there's always a question or two that needs answering, and we are happy to do just that. All you need to do is drop us an email, give us a call. Paul will be more than delighted to answer any questions that you have and make sure that you have everything you need in order to join us on this trip. Thanks so much for joining me on this virtual journey around the Canary Islands. I hope it's given you a little bit of a taste of what you could expect from the lunar landscapes up on Mount Teide on Tenerife, or the lush forests of La Palma, the interesting and diverse Canarian cuisine, and stargazing like you'll find no place else in the world, except maybe at home in Canada on a cold winter's night. This trip offers really a great combination of relaxation and exploration. Remember that our LiveAway programs are designed for you to experience a destination not just as a visitor, but like you're a temporary local. There's plenty of free time. We've chosen some of the best excursions based on our experience having run this trip before. And so it really is a unique opportunity to explore a part of the world that you might not have otherwise thought of visiting. If you enjoy following our webinars on all of our new trips, then you can subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on that subscribe button down below, and then you'll be alerted whenever we have a new trip, a new webinar that comes out. Otherwise, I want to thank you for indulging me in my little explanation about this part of the world. I hope you will consider joining us in our community if you're not already on our newsletter list, and perhaps we'll see you on a trip sometime. Thanks very much.